Our new Hopcat arrived. Our old one, the thermometer went wonky and you couldn't trust it, so we were forever having to unplug it and plug it in. Excuse the hair, slightly odd colour, but you know, it's locked down, why not? So I'm going to do a quick unboxing and compare it with what I know about our previous machine. Weird angle, I know, but let's see. Right, so I took the liberty of already opening it, because that's a pain in the bum. So bottom plate and top plate, we'll look at it. That's much the same as the previous ones, really. Oh, hold on, there's another one. There's an additional plate. Now, not sure what the additional plate is for, but I'm guessing to give you an extra level at the bottom, maybe an extra. Oh no, that one's got no bevel on the edge, so I'm guessing that goes into the inside of one of the two beveled ones, and therefore makes some sort of double mesh at the bottom. Previous one only came with one, so that's one improvement. God, what a terrible camera angle. So that's that. Put that here. The bag of bits. It looks very much like we have some additional piping this time. Not quite sure what they are, and some screws. Maybe that's an additional handle. In the Hopcat they have a pipe that goes in the bottom on the inlet to the pump, which gives you sort of protection against stuff going down. Got the bazooka again, never used that before. This time we have spare silicone seals. We didn't have any of those last time. Not needed any yet, but yeah, that's interesting. Not sure what those bits are for. And then the lid. It's a nice solid glass lid, which we've never had a problem with. Seems to work very well. It's amazing the difference in temperature proof when you put your lid on. A little instruction booklet, which isn't very complicated. Right. Now, if I remember right, this is quite hard work last time. That's the bag on the outside, so what we've got in the middle. Hopcat, which I think we've used twice in the original machine, and it's useful, but we find it clogs up. There's always a debate about whether you use them or not. We use bags. Right, now what is in here? Remark, avoid breaking the tap during transport. Oh right, so that's the tap that goes on the bottom. You have to fit that yourself. No big deal. Quite reliable, it's never leaked yet. And the chilling coil doesn't come with, it doesn't come with fittings. We bought those from AHB, Angel Homebrew. They have fittings that fit it. It's the same size as everybody else's. Actually looks slightly better than the previous one. The previous one was a bit of an odd shape. So that's good. Right, so the mash pipe, or malt pipe. Oh, come on. Oh, there we go. Oh, let me scratch it. Malt pipe, pretty much the same as before. Feels quite solid, well wrapped, and the boiler. Oh, it's got a slightly different finish. Previous one was just shiny. This one's got more of a matte finish to it. It's got I can't remember what we call it. One of those things you can see through on the side. I'm hoping it's a bit more accurate than the previous one. The previous one was always about 5 litres out, but as long as you knew how much it was out by, that was fine. It's definitely better quality inside. In the previous one there are a couple of weld spots that you could see. This one doesn't seem to have any. One tiny dent right in the bottom, but it's almost invisible. Oh no, it's not a dent actually, I think it's a slight pressure mark from something that fitted on the other side, or a weld mark. Thermostat there at the bottom, and the pump outlet. It's quite heavy, metal, nice and shiny, unused, lovely unused. I like new things. Where's the plug? There's the plug. It's got two separate power things, one for the pump, one for the PCB and heater. PCB has a piece of protective plastic over it. It's got this coming out again, which is the same as our old one. It doesn't seem to actually be part of the sealing. I think it's part of the wrapping to it. The other one fell out and made no difference. Right, so it also it also came with this gear, which is that's the pipe, the malt pipe for the middle. See if that's changed at all. There's a telescopic malt pipe with the white dead ender on it, and the bottom, which you can take off, and you seal it using that one. We don't use the malt pipe for short brews. We use a bag, which so we just put that in the bottom of the mash thing, in the bottom plate, and we use a bag because it's the malt pipe. It does go quite. In fact, that one looks shorter than our old one. Got the feeling this is a shorter malt pipe. But in a short brew, I mean, we've done ones as small as 15 litres, comes down to sort of there. So if in a bag, you don't need to worry about it. And in big brews, bags are good because you can stir and stir and stir and not worry about the pressure and see things. And yes, God, come on out. So that's the bendy. That's the bend. I don't want to break anything. But right, handle for lifting Ashton, same as before. Bendy sparge arm. It's basically a slightly stiffer version of a shower tube, shower curtain, not shower curtain, shower head thing. It's quite well sealed. Ours got a little bit loose after about a year of use, so it's nice to have a new one. And normal circulation arm, which is okay on a, is it okay on a short brew, not great on a big brew? I can't remember, but to get that to actually sit usefully. And the pumps aren't particularly fast, so you don't get much of a whirlpool effect anyway, so we tend to just use the other one. Or we have quite large tube that we fitted an end to, and we use the tube for a lot of stuff. An insulation jacket. These didn't exist when we bought the first one, so that's nice. We've actually got two Bruzilla ones we bought off AliExpress for about a £5 for the pair, but they did take 3 months to arrive. Anybody buying any of these machines, including Hopcat, get yourself insulation, because in the winter keeping the temperature at anything stable is really, really hard in such a large vessel, especially 65 litre. And what else have we got? That's it, something else fell out the back. And that's the paddle. Nice stainless steel paddle. They're quite good. We've still got the old one. So, yes, that's it. I'd say the improvements are, we've got a double base now for the malt pipe. Looks very much like the chiller is slightly better made. The machine is slightly better finished than the one we had. And well, yeah, that's about it. I mean, the whole thing looks slightly better made. We, as I said before, we got one of the first batch, so it had a few issues, but worked okay. That's it. Okay, quick shot of it all put together. There's the tap fitted. I've only hand tightened it, but I don't think we did much more with the previous one. The whirlpool arm's in, but obviously not been used. I mean, that's the basket. Actually, very neat fit this time around the edge. The previous one always felt a little bit dangerous, but that one's a lot better. I've also put in the second plate that came with it, even though I don't really know if that's what it's for. Haven't worked out what the extra 2 handles are for, or the extra handle with the screws, unless it goes through the extra plate, and that's actually a false bottom. But if it was a false bottom, I wouldn't expect it to have a hole in the middle, so probably not. I've still got all these bits over here. Obviously, top plate just fits on top of there like that, and it's got the white screw thing stopped wort going down the middle, or grain going down the middle when you're actually pouring your grain in. We tend to use the Chris Robertson method and put our grain in first and lower the whole thing in and stir it. Although we've tried both, it doesn't seem to make a great deal of difference. When you use a bag instead of the malt pipe, you find that it's we find that it's well, there's a lot less leaks, and you get far cleaner wort, and you never get any burning on the bottom either. It makes a massive difference. So I would heartily recommend a bag, even though they go to extreme lengths to give you all this stuff. I am actually very pleased with this. This is considerably better than the previous version we had. Considerably. It all feels better finished, better wired together. All we're going to try now is passivating it. I'm going to stick some brew safe in there and fill it to the brim and just warm it up. I'm not going to boil it because I don't want to get the bottom covered in the residuals from our tap water, which is about as hard as stone because it's insanely full of calcium where we live. Every kettle is destroyed in a year. So, pacification. I have pacified it in BrewSafe, which may have been a mistake because it brought every bit of grease, oil and even some lining tape out. Ran the pump, ran everything, took it up to 50, took it up to 60. Good news is it's much more solidly built than the previous model we had. The temperature really feathers its way up to the temperature now. It overshot, I think, the first time by 0.1, but I had it at quite a high rating, so I think the highest it went above was about 0.5. I dropped the wattage to about 800 watts, and then it hung within 0.2 of the value I was after, which is pretty good in one of these machines. Obviously there was no grain in it, the basket was there with top and bottom, and it was recirculating. Time will tell if it's better than the previous one, because the previous one we had a few issues, but of course we have a jacket with this one which fits really well. The Hopcat jacket fits. It's much easier to get on than the Firmzilla ones we bought from China, which are a handful. Let's put it that way. Yeah, so all in all, very happy with it. It seems to be a definite step up from the previous edition. I'm just having a quick half of my, what do you call it? Horrible apple juice cider, which is, it tends to scrumpy rather than the nice stuff. It's not bad though. So, cheers.